Let me tell you a story that still plays in my mind whenever I hear the sound of rain on an old Portland sidewalk. The kind of morning where you just know something's about to go sideways, and no cup of coffee in the world can prepare you for what's next. That was the day I learned not every hero wears a uniform and not every life saved is a matter of luck. It started on a Tuesday, cold and gray, rain hammering the city like it had something to prove. The kind of day where every minute drags its feet and you drive a little slower, even when the siren's blaring. My partner in a Station 17, just another pair of soaked EMTs trying to outrun the weather, were tearing up the old county road to answer an emergency call just outside the city. You know how it is. Sometimes your hands are steady, but your stomach's a knot. I barely noticed the rain on the windshield until the ambulance slammed to a stop so hard my coffee went flying. There was, right in the middle of the road, a big white dog, drenched to the bone, not moving an inch. Just standing there, eyes locked on us, not flinching, like it had been waiting for this exact moment. My partner hit the horn, twice nothing. No flinch, no bark, just that unblinking stare, and you know what? I'm not ashamed to admit it gave me chills, because strays don't act like that, not even the hungry ones. So I did what you doy got out to shoo it away, boots squishing in a puddle, rain coming down so hard it was like walking through a car wash. The dog didn't run, didn't even back up, just watched me, then almost politely took a couple steps off the road and sat down. Like, they're happy now. But as soon as I got back in the cab, he trotted right back to his spot, tail low, shivering, blocking us again. That's when it hit me. He wasn't lost. He wanted something. I told my partner to wait. This time, I crouched down, trying to look less like a threat and more like someone who'd listen if you had a story to tell. The dog hesitated, then turned, looking back at me like, "Well, you coming or what?" And he took off right into the woods. I followed, of course, cursing under my breath, sliding down the muddy bank behind him. That's where I found him, a man, gray-haired, sprawled under the evergreens, skin pale as the sky, not breathing right if breathing at all. "Call in," I yelled, voice sharper than I meant, but my partner was already on it, scrambling for the gear. The doe was pacing, whining, eyes never leaving the man. Not scared, just worried. You ever see a dog look at someone like they're the only thing holding the world together? That was him. We got the man onto the stretcher. His name was George, though I wouldn't learn that till later in. I'll never forget how the dog tried to climb in after us, paws scrabbling at the step, refusing to be left behind. I broke protocol that day and let him in. There are rules, and then there's doing what's right. You know what I mean? At the hospital, they worked on George fast. Stroke. The doctors said another 20 minutes, maybe less, and it would have been too late. But it wasn't thanks to that stubborn white dog, soaked and shivering and glued to the sliding glass doors outside the ER all night. The nurses said he didn't eat, didn't move, not unless he caught a glimpse of me bringing out leftovers. Next morning, I saw him curled up by the ambulance bay, tail thumping the moment. I said his name, though I didn't even know it yet. Days passed. The dog who, by then, we'd all started calling the White Shadow wouldn't budge from the hospital entrance, rain or shine. The security guards started sneaking him treats, even the ones who pretended to hate dogs. Meanwhile, George was stable but hadn't said a word since the stroke. They said the brain heals at its own pace, but I saw something different, like he was waiting, too. One afternoon, after a lot of pleading and probably bending a few more rules, I convinced the hospital manager to let the dog visit, just once. The room was quiet, machines humming, George staring into nowhere. Then, as soon as that dog walked in, something shifted. The dog whined softly, tiptoeing to the bed, eyes locked on George. For a moment, nothing. Then a tear slipped down George's cheek. His lips moved, and all he whispered was, "Bailey." And the way Bailey buried his head into George's shaking hand, he swear. You could feel every wall in that room come down. From that moment, George started fighting his way backwards, came easier. The food stayed down, the old spark in his eye. The doctor said it was a miracle, but anyone who saw that reunion would tell you it was just love, pure and simple, the kind you can't buy, can't fake, can't even really explain. A couple days later, George's wife showed U-Pies red from crying. clutching an umbrella like it was a lifeline. She told us George had taken Bailey for a walk that morning and never came home. She'd been searching all day, but only Bailey knew where to find help. Bailey, she said, had always been stubborn, never listened unless it truly mattered. When George was finally discharged, it should have been a happy ending, right? His wife took Bailey home first, thinking that was what he needed. But a few hours later, someone found Bailey curled up outside the hospital doors again, waiting for his person. He spent one more night there, faithful to the end, and only when George walked out himself, weak but grinning, did Bailey finally get up, wag his tail, and trot after him like nothing had happened. Now, I know some folks think stories like this are just flukes or dumb luck, but let me tell you, there's something about loyalty you can't teach. There's a kind of love that cuts through rain, traffic, and even the walls of a hospital. Sometimes it comes wrapped in fur, with muddy paws and eyes that won't take no for an answer. To this day, whenever it rains, I still look for white shadows at the edge of the road just in case someone's out there who needs a hand or a paw. So, what do you think? Did Bailey save George, or was it the other way around? Have you ever seen loyalty change the course of someone's life? Share your thoughts below, because sometimes the smallest acts of love make the biggest difference, and I'd love to hear your side of the story.